What's up, everybody? It's me, Mateo Murillo, and I'm here to finally give you a full 110% walk around overview, in-depth thing of what I've done to my car, turbocharge, all the gauges, all the pods, and everything that I've put into it. Pretty much everything I've done from the beginning. I'm going to answer all of your guys' questions, and that's pretty much what I tend to do. So let's do that now. Let me start kind of all the way as far back as I can go with some of the first questions. So the first question is from Edouard Berhamel, and he asks, this is on the first episode, episode 1 of the build log, turbocharged Celica GTS, the intro. Pretty much I had the turbo kit out on the ground and showing you guys everything that was about to go into the car. He asked, awesome, I'm planning on turboing my Celica as well. Is this the same turbo kit as part of the base complete kit from turbokits.com? Also, how many miles is on your Celica? Is your engine stock? So this question alone knocks out a lot of the basic questions that a lot of people get me. This is a turbokits.com kit, the base, 100% base kit, no upgraded, nothing, no turbo upgrade, nothing. This is the kit that you can get right off of turbokits.com. And he also asked me how many miles was on the Celica. Right now the Celica is at 105, 106. It's about to hit 106. And what else? When I turbocharged the Celica, it was at 95,000 miles. So I've put on it was a little less. No, it was a little more. It was at 95,000 miles when I turbocharged it. So 95,000 miles, 100% stock engine. The only thing you have to change are your injectors to anything bigger than what the stock ones are. 100% stock engine. Only thing changed internally were the lift bolts, which I have a video about, and the injector size. Those are the only two things that have been changed on the internals of the engine. Other than that, the thing is 110% stock. So let's find another one. So another question from Silly Couple is, awesome, I'm right in the process of buying my kit, also from turbokits.com. What turbo are you using and what EMS, engine management system? The turbo I'm using is the one that comes right off the turbokits.com. It is a T28 journal bearing turbo. Usually you can find those on 240s, stock KAs. Anything of that sort, those are the ones that come with it. The engine management that's on here right now is the AEM FIC. It's an alright engine management. It's all it's good for is dumping fuel and changing the ignition timing on the engine. That's all it's good for. Other than that, you can't change the lift point. You can't do anything else. I got an Apex C Power FC right behind me over there, but I'm selling that and I'm going to get a AEM EMS4, which is able to control all the variables and still maintain the stock ECU. With the Apex, you have to get it out. You have to take it out and change the stock ECU. But I didn't want to go that route. Also, I have to drive God knows how long of a drive to go to Atlanta just to find a tuner that's capable of tuning that. And I talked to him, but he never got back to me. So I'm scrapping the idea. I'm going AEM and going to the tuner that tuned the car originally. But he said the tuner that tuned this car originally. He's really good with AEM, and he's done a bunch of Scions, and so I trust him with an AEM. I don't trust him with an Apexy. So I'm gonna do that. We have to go get a dyno tune again, and excuse the air conditioning for coming on. We're gonna go get a dyno tune again, and now we're actually gonna have the real power numbers because everything should be good by the time I go there. So as of right now, the engine does have a AEM FIC, but it will be upgraded to a AEM EMS4. So I'll have abbreviations. That one we're gonna go to ZZZ trial. Are using a TK forged blow-off valve or something else? This is a forged blow-off valve, a TurboKits forged blow-off valve. It's right here in the corner. You can't see it, but whoops. TK forge turbokits.com, forged blow-off valve. Nothing special, gets the job done. There's no really need to upgrade to anything else. Eduardo Benjamin again. Did I measure the 0 to 60 before and after? No, I did not. But it does pull a lot stronger when I hit lift. First, the boost kicks you into your seat, and then as that's climbing, you get to 6,000 RPMs, and then your head gets sucked into the headrest of the seat, and it turns into a completely different monster after that, and it pulls all the way to 8,200. So definitely pulls a lot harder in lift. Idling, fine, no issues with idle. If you have a vacuum leak or something, you'll definitely notice something going on with the idle, but that's never happened before. Do I have a turbo timer? I do, but I don't have it installed. I've been meaning to do it, but I keep putting it off. I mean, you don't really need a turbo timer now that I'm thinking about it, because the only thing you have to do is wait 30 seconds to a minute after driving kind of hard, because the turbo has oil and coolant going through it, so that's enough to cool it down. And after a hard run, I usually do wait 5 to 10 minutes before even going back out or doing another hard run. But a turbo timer isn't really necessary. I think I might just end up selling it because I don't have a use for it, and I've never had any issues with the car so far. So I do have it, but it's not installed. Dyno video, and did I hit my HP gold by ZZ Trial again? Pretty much, I was hoping for a dyno video. Did you hit your HP goal? My HP goal is at the very end 275 to the wheels, or overall. No, I think I'll do 275 overall. But on the dyno, this thing hit 225 wheel horsepower, and I'll explain the story behind that. I've told a lot of people in the comments that pretty much what happened was the downpipe connected to the turbo. So here's the turbo, right? Turbo, downpipe goes out. Here's the turbo, here's the downpipe. When I went to go tune it, apparently while driving on the highway, some bolts popped out and the downpipe became exposed. It was a gap about at least this big, at least that big. So all that air is escaping and it's creating no back pressure. So the turbo is having a hard time trying to dump fuel in, doesn't really know what to do, and it just becomes a mess and you lose a bunch of power. So what happens, so the Celica was tuned with the downpipe open like that, and it smelled god awful, by the way. So it was tuned like that, but I didn't know that because I wasn't there while it was being dynoed. I probably would have caught it and fixed it then, but I wasn't there. So after I closed the downpipe, and then, before then, when I drove it after the tune, it felt better, but it felt sluggish, like something wasn't right. It felt sluggish. The smell of the exhaust smell was horrendous, and I didn't know what it was till I came back home that night, realized I heard that I could hear the blades inside the turbo spinning, and then when I opened it up, I realized, oh gosh, the downpipe was barely connected. The only bolts connected were the bottom two, so the 3 at top all disappeared. So there was a big gap in the top, and then when I closed it, it felt so much better. But it started to run lean again, so I had to go, because you started dumping all that air back into there. So I had to go back to my tuner and tell him, hey, there was an issue when we were tuning it. Can we retune it? And he said, yeah, sure. But let's not jump it on the dyno since it's only going to be a fuel adjustment. Let's just go for a street tune. All right, awesome. So we did a street tune, but I never calculated how much power it was doing after that first initial one. So now you guys know the story behind why it is I don't have a certain power number on this car. I think personally it's 250 to the wheels, which is what I was aiming for with the kit. And then with the new EMS, with the new MS4, I should be able to crank it up a little bit more, but I don't want to push too much. So I guess we'll see. What axle back? Oh, so the exhaust, from the turbo back it's 3 inches, and then the exhaust is a Vibrant muffler. Nothing special. It's just weird because I remember before I was turbocharging the Celica, I wanted to do the headers and the exhaust, and I was reading all the exhaust different things and stuff like that, but then I just realized I'll just turbocharge the damn thing and see how it goes. So yes, I mean what axle back, welded from the muffler back, welded from the axle back onto a 3-inch pipe all the way, so there's that. So Cadman 40 said something to look into is a wide open throttle box. Pretty much it's a two-step box. Pretty much whenever you're about to launch, it'll control the RPMs that the car sits at. So the only thing you have to do is dump the clutch, and then you don't have to worry about revving. One thing about that is with the new EMS4, it will have anti-lag, so I'm kind of excited about that. But I don't need a two-step box anymore. I just need to get the EMS4, which is on its way, thankfully. I just have to sell my Apexy so I can get everything else for it. So I have a question. You added PVC going to the intake manifold from valve cover and put a catch can for that. Alright, so this is about my catch can install video. Installing a catch can is really easy. Go watch that video. All you have to do is, see if I can show you guys. Well, no. I'll just point to it. See that braided line at the top near the oil cap? There's a braided line. That one goes to this intake right here. So that's one already. That's the breather. It comes out to here. It goes to this can. And this one is the more important one. The one behind it, there's two lines. There's that one in the front and one behind it. That one goes down to here, and there's a catch can down here. And then your PVC one, this used to be connected up to there, but there used to be some kind of oil, a little bit of oil vapors like to escape sometimes. So I have it connected that comes down to here, and then it goes back into the engine. This helped a lot with my idle, my air-fuel ratio at idle, which was kind of surprising. It helped stabilize it even more, because it used to be jumping between 15.5 to 16, but this one brought it down to 14.7 to 15.2, so somewhere around there. So it always flexes between those two after I installed this thing. So whatever it did, it helped. But that's all you need to know about catch cans. They're really worthwhile and simple mod. What injector are you using in stock fuel rail by Dimas Hidalgo? Stock injector I already covered, 550cc. Stock fuel rail, yep, 100% stock fuel rail. Alright, how much was the whole turbo setup? Just bought a 2014 6-speed and I want to turbo it this summer. 01, the Tenismo. Alright, so this turbo kit, I got really lucky and found it on newcelica.org for a steal. I found it on there for $1,500. So I couldn't complain at the price. Seeing it like that, I had to get it. So I got the turbo kit for $1,500. The guy told me the turbo needed a rebuild, but I kind of ignored him for a little bit because in hindsight I should have fixed it before even attempting to install it. But it's all right. I ended up fixing it anyways. But the turbo kit came. Turbo was fine. There was no shaft play. Just the seals on it were kind of busted, and I learned that afterwards. And there was oil starting to leak through the intake pipes. So then that had to be fixed, and I already did that. So the turbo right now is brand new. How much did the whole turbo setup cost you? Like I said, $1,500 for the kit, all the pieces that came in. Then I came and added on the catch cans, the boost gauges, and all that stuff. All that was separate. Another one from 01, the Tenismo. What clutch did you put in it? It has a stage 2. I'll write it down. I'll write it somewhere in the video what stage clutch it is. Alright, from Virtual P, someone asked where do I live in Chicago, and I said I wish I did live in Chicago because Monkey Wrench Racing would be like right down the road, and I would go to them to the Apexy, but I live in North Carolina, and that's 9 hours away from Chicago, let alone Monkey Wrench Racing. So no, I live in North Carolina, Charlotte, to be more specific. What else? Yeah, that's it. Did you lower the compression ratio to turbo it? No, I did not. Stock engine again. I do plan on lowering the compression ratio in the future, but I'll pretty much go until these pistons give out, and then once they do give out, I'll change the pistons to lower compression ones, and then we should be good to go. So we can crank it up, so we can crank up the power even more. But until then, I'm not gonna bother. She just go miss slicks on the Celica, maybe. Maybe, hopefully. I've only gone to the drag once, and from what I've seen, I don't really need slicks. What I do need is a boost by gear type setup, and that's what the EMS4 will be able to help me with. So no slicks on the Celica yet. I've had the same tires on this thing for 4 years, so that's pretty something I'm proud to be about. Something proud to be something to be proud about. I have a question. The oil. The oil I use is, I have a can of it right here actually. This is the oil that goes into the Celica 10W30 motor oil, full synthetic. I keep the high mileage because the engine already has above 75,000 miles. So I just get the high mileage one. Sometimes I switch between the full synthetic regular and the high mileage, but in my opinion, I don't think it matters too much. Go with whatever's cheaper, but not too cheap. You don't want to go too cheap. Austin Smith, where did you get your Celica tuned, man? Mine is needing to be tuned. I got mine tuned in Greensboro, North Carolina, by a guy named CJ. He's pretty good. He's been tuning a couple thousand horsepower Supras, couple 700 horsepower Supras. Basically anything that you can tune, he will tune it. He told me, when I told him about upgrading to an Apex E, he told me, you're better off getting an EMS4 because it's more modern, and I 100% agree now. Apex E is old, not too many people use it anymore, so I'm definitely going to scrap the Apex E, give it to someone who can use it on stock on a non-turbo GTS or turbo GTS, and just use it that way. But I'm going to go the EMS4 route. Here's another one from Elaine Zion. What wheel horsepower did you make? What dyno were you using? Just got my 2ZZ turbo tuned as well. Good job for another 2ZZ turbo. You don't see them anymore. I was using a Dynomax or Jet Dyno. Dynojet? I'm pretty sure it's a Dynojet. Yeah, Dynojet. That was the dyno that was used, and it made 225. I'll show you. I'll have a picture of the dyno paper. It's somewhere with me, but don't let the numbers fool you. It's all been fixed. I'm pretty sure it went up compared to what it was then. Here's one from Marcus McLean. It seems like your Celica is getting beat way too much. Something isn't right. I own one, and I smoked Mustangs on the highway. I can hit 145 with a bad oil control open. So Marcus McLean noticed that my Celica was getting beat a lot. This car's gone up against 400 horsepower Camaros. It's gone up against like 500 horsepower cars. It can beat the stock Mustangs from rolling on the highway. It's only racing I'm actually decent at. I'm learning how to do drag racing. My biggest issue is launching the car. Since there's no limited slip differential or welded diff or anything for that matter, it's just open diff. The tires seem to spin really bad, and my launches aren't as clean as they should be. I have to figure out my launches, but I just need to practice more. Also, with that being said, it's gone up against some pretty heavy hitters that are pretty hard to beat, even in normal powered cars. The one in this video was a naturally aspirated Cobra, and that one was pretty fast, but like I said, I'm not able to launch, and nor do I have the best tires right now. Lord Spartan asked what happened to the turbo. Pretty much what I had to do was I had to take the turbo off, not the kit, but just the turbo off, and send it back to turbokits.com for them to rebuild it. Now it has a 360 degree thrust bearing, which will help let it last a little bit longer with the seals. Hopefully it does that. But I had to take it off, send it to turbokits.com because it had to be rebuilt. Finally, it had to be rebuilt. Something I should have done from the beginning in hindsight, so I didn't have to do that. But it's all right. It's all fixed now. I'm not complaining. I had to take it off. That took about a week. Yeah, it took about a week because it took them the time to get the turbo, open it up, clean it, repair it, and then send it back to me. And then I had the car done in 2 days. I had to do the third day to crank it up again and then drive around and make sure it was all fine. And this one, the last question, Ozumu69, how are you running without power FC, bro? Pretty much, you don't need a power FC to make it work. You just need a Piggyback ECU that will dump enough fuel and retard the timing to whatever you need to do. AME FIC Piggyback with the stock computer, they hate each other. They hate each other with a passion. They're always fighting each other. They never know what's going on. They always want to do their own thing. They always want to change settings. I always have to reload the tune on it, or else it will do some funky things. Another day I was driving, and all of a sudden they got planted to 11 air fuel ratio, and that's super rich. I came back home, reloaded the tune. It's as if nothing had happened. Drove it around for the same amount of time I was driving it. When it did that, no issues at all. They just don't like each other. They're always fighting back and forth. Oh, I'm correct, but you can't change my settings. It's a mess. It's always a mess. That's why I'm upgrading. I was gonna use the Power FC, but now I'm gonna have to stick with the AEM EMS4 because it's just a better ECU overall. It has more support. It's more modern, and I'm getting a killer deal on it. So I'm not gonna argue. So I'm going to take it on the inside of the car now to show you everything that's been done to it. I hopefully answered all your questions, and I'll give you a full walk around. So there's the engine. Nothing special. Well, whoops. Nothing special, kind of, not really, but I mean, the turbo's in the back. You guys have seen it like 400 times. Goes through there, intercooler. Gets shot back up into there. This is my boost gauge cable. I'll have to fix it. I just got a new one. I had to replace the old one. It broke. Boost gauge cable, and then this one goes to the ECU, the AEM FIC. All that goes back there into the cabin. The AEM I managed to route to the bottom of the car. I can show you guys real quick. Managed to route to the bottom of the car. I can show you guys real quick. So that was that. That's the AEM FIC down by my feet in the footwell. It took a while to actually route the cable through there because it's really big, but I got the fit, thank God. You need some help though, but it's okay. Boost gauge just got replaced. The other one broke. The nipple on the back snapped off and it was causing a bunch of issues, so I just went ahead and got that replaced. Innovate wideband, and then oil pressure gauge, and then my ghetto setup with the tape. It's all right. It gets the job done. There's the boost controller. It's a pretty good boost controller since I'm running 5 pounds stock now. I had to crank it up for racing, but on a daily it's pretty good. I like it. You're able to crank it up, crank it down whenever you want. And that's it for the car. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and are a little bit more up to speed with the Celica. I'm pretty sure I've answered just about every question that I can imagine. I don't know what else could be asked of the car now, other than what's it going to make after the EMS4 is on there and stuff like that, which we will have to wait and find out. Oh, I forgot. I said I would post a video on the the drag times, and to be 100% honest, they were god awful. And it's not because the car is slow, it's because of me not being able to drive correctly. The fastest I could get the car to go was 101, but it took 16 seconds. So 16 point something at 101 miles an hour. Reaction time doesn't exist because I jumped the gun. And I only got 2 runs in that night, unfortunately. I do have the footage of both runs, so I will show you guys that. But you guys are going to laugh at my time, so it's not... I have to get better at dragging the car, or drag racing the car. So once I do get better at that, I'll post a 110% like actual what the car is capable of. But it might take some time for me to get used to drag racing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and peace out.